My name is Pam Mitchell, and I live in Dunscore village, and I've lived here since 1984. And from about 1990, I became aware of Jane Haining and the fact that she was born in this village. So I'm very keen to keep her memory alive and introduce as many people as I can to her story to keep her memory alive. And I think it's really important that young people hear the story. Most of the groups that I speak to are middle-aged and elderly church groups or women's rural groups, but I think it's very important that young people become aware of Jane's story. I don't really know why it's not better known. It needs to be better known, and hopefully through publicity and films being made about her, documentaries, and sharing her story, it will become better known, because she is a great role model for us. Not for us to die for our faith, because who would? I mean, we don't know what we would do in situations like that, but to have just a more caring attitude, and that's badly needed in the world today, you know, for us all to be aware that we are all equal. Well, she was born in the farm, Lochinhead farm in Dunscore. Her father, Thomas Haining, and her mother was Jane Matheson Haining. And when she was born in 1897, and when she was 5 years old, her mother died in childbirth, and that left Jane a young 5-year-old, but she seemed to have been the one that had a kind of mothering instinct. And although she had 2 older sisters, she was the one who kind of looked after them, and so it continued as she grew up. She went to the village primary school, and she was very clever there, and I think the head teacher there saw the potential of that she was keen to learn, and she read every book apparently that she could lay her hands on. And when she was 12 years old, due to leave the primary school, she was clever enough, and her father could afford to send her to Dumfries Academy, where her 2 older sisters were. But because it's 8 miles away from Dunscore, the girls boarded, and they boarded in the Moat Hostel, part of Dumfries Academy. And there she stayed until 1915. And during that time, I think she won 43 prizes and medals because she was very clever. And in 6th year, she became the dux of the school, the cleverest person in the school. And her name's recorded on the dux board in the school. And the church was very important to their life. And faith was obviously very important in Jane's life. She taught in Sunday school here, in the Craig Church, and she also taught in the Sunday school in Glasgow when she moved up to Glasgow. So it was very important to her. And the fact that she ultimately lived her faith, she shared her faith by sharing the love of God with everybody that she met in a very human way, with great humility. She wasn't looking for any rewards, but she just knew how to share her faith and make people feel comfortable and relaxed around her by feeling the faith that she had. And I think we see that in the end of her story, when she refused to return to Scotland because she knew that the children needed her, and she could give them her strength and her confidence and share her faith with them. And I'm sure she must have touched a lot of people in the final stages of her life with her love of God. Her story can touch children and can touch everybody because I think she showed the love of God for everybody, not for Christians, not for Jews only, but for everybody. And she had a great belief that we are all children of God, and we have to respect each other and show loving care for each other. And she did this all throughout her life, and not favour one minority group or majority group even, but we are all equal in God's eyes.